Hello everyone, this is a video for creating the border of the Sona blanket. So while designing the border for this blanket, I wanted to make something that was not dependent on getting the right gauge for the squares because I know that not everyone gets an exact square. A lot of people have different gauge than mine, and your squares might be taller than their wide, or which is usually the case, or in some cases it could be wider than they're tall. So the border will work if you maintain the same gauge that you have in your squares. Let's get into the construction of this. The way I constructed this is because I was going to build it around the squares that were joined. I started with a base that is the bottom, and then I added the two sides, and then I added the top. So it is sort of a frame for the squares that are joined. And in this video, I'm going to make a small version of that to show you how it works up. But the specific instructions with the number of stitches, exact number of stitches, are in the pattern, so please follow those. This is just to give you a general idea of how to build this border, and also there are some technical details that I wanted to focus on, so I'm going to show you all of those in this video, but you can apply this directly to the larger border for the Sona blanket itself. I'm going to start with making chain 17. This is building the bottom of the border, and this is step one. So start with chain 17, and this count is only for this video. For the specific count, stitch count for the border of the blanket, please refer to the instructions. So I have 17 chains, and then I'm going to make the foundation row stitches. So here I have completed the foundation row with 17 stitches, and I am going to now change color at this point. So here I have completed the foundation row with 17 stitches. Now the second row, I'm going to make a row of simple stitches. So I've completed row 2. Now row 3 is another row of simple stitches, but with this color. Now this is end of row 3, and in row 4 I'm going to make a simple mosaic pattern just to give you an idea of how the border is worked up. Again, the exact instructions for the border for the Sona blanket are in the pattern. This is just a sample, and I'm using a uh, simple mosaic pattern for this border. You are welcome to incorporate this if you'd like, but this is just to give you a sense of how this border is worked up, or how the Sona blanket border is worked up. So I'm just going to alternate extended simple stitches and simple stitches. Here I have a row of alternating extended simple stitches and simple stitches just to create a simple mosaic pattern in this border that I'm creating. Now another row of simple stitches. Now here we are at the end of row 5 for this border. So this is going to be a border of with 5 stitches and 5 rows. So this is how it's looking right now. Now after the 5th row, we're going to split. Now we're going to build the two sides. So the first side we're going to build is this one. And to do that, I'm going to only work with 5 stitches now. So that will be one side of the border. So I'm going to start with, now as I build this side, I'm going to continue the mosaic pattern that I'm building. So I have a first stitch, this is the edge stitch, then I'm going to make an extended simple stitch. simple stitch, an extended simple stitch, and a simple stitch. So that is 5 stitches, and I'm going to now work with just these 5 stitches, and this will become the last stitch or the edge stitch for this side. Here I can see that this border pattern is continuing, and the next row is a row of simple stitches. We're only going to work the total of 5 stitches, so there'll be 5 loops on the hook at the end of this forward pass. So that's 5. And then the next row is again building that mosaic pattern with extended simple stitch, simple stitch, and extended simple stitch, and the edge stitch, I'm going to make one more row of simple stitches and another row of the mosaic pattern. So at this row now, we're going to pause here. I'm going to now move these stitches onto the cord, and I'm going to save them. So I'm going to put another stopper. So I'm going to save these stitches right here. Now we're going to go ahead and build this side. So to do that, I'm going to have to cut the yarn and reattach here. We're using a different skein of yarn over here does not really make sense because we won't be able to use this. So it is best to cut this yarn and use the same one to attach to the next part that we're making. So here, I'm just going to save this. And now for the next part, I'm going to attach my white yarn here. I'm going to attach it to this stitch that is the 5th stitch from that row where we started making this side. So the one that was right below this edge stitch, I'm going to attach it here like I was making a simple stitch. And then I'm going to bind off 8 stitches. So that's 1, 2. So this will be a lot longer in the final in the border for the Sona blanket. This is tiny here just because I'm making a small sample, so this won't really be in your way. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and for the 8th one, I'm going to do the bind off with yellow. So these are the tiny details I wanted to point out while making this video rather than I do have these in the pattern, but I think it's easier to explain them while you're watching a video. So here I made the simple stitch with the yellow, and then I'm going to bind off. So that's how it is. Now we're going to build this side and we're going to work 5 stitches here. So this will count as the edge stitch. And then I'm going to continue making the mosaic pattern. So I'm going to make an extended simple stitch. Simple stitch and an extended simple stitch. and then an edge stitch, and then the return pass. I'm just going to use this white yarn that I did the bind off with and pick that up and complete this to get to the next row. Now for the next row, I'm going to make a row of simple stitches. Here, now we're building this side just like we built this side, and you can see that the design is, the mosaic pattern is being continued on both sides. So I'm going to make the exact same number of rows as here on this side as well, and I'm going to show you. So it's going to be another 3 rows, a yellow, a white, and another yellow, and I'm going to show you how it looks. Okay, here I am. I have completed this row. Now this is the same number of rows as on the other side. Now at this point, I'm just going to join my saved stitches here. I'm going to connect this cord back. I know it's going to be a big gap over here for when you are working on your Sona border, but it will work out fine. Even if there's a large gap, you don't need a very large cord at this point. You are welcome to attach a large cord, but you don't need one. So now I'm going to again cut this white yarn because I don't need it here anymore. I'm going to continue by my return pass with this yarn. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now at this point, we need to build this bridge here with the white yarn. So I'm going to bring this white yarn back, and I'm going to make a total of 7 chains. Now again, the pattern mentions exactly how many you need for the Sona blanket. It's going to be a much larger number than this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I'm going to cut this yellow yarn and bring it back to the other side. And start and continue the return pass with this color. Okay, now this is, I promise this is the last cut. At this point, I'm going to cut this yarn again because I don't need it here anymore. And I'm going to now use this to work the next row. So I'm going to change color here so you can see, getting all of the yarn ends out of the way. So you have this base, you have this side, you have this side, and now you have this bridge, and all you have to do is build the same thing that you built at the bottom at the top here. So I'm going to now use this bridge and build that top. So to do that, I'm going to have this. I'm going to begin with 4 simple stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you don't want these to be loose while working, you can actually weave in ends. I haven't yet, but you could. So here now I have these 7 chains. I need to make 7 foundation stitches here. So that's turning this to the back. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 4 simple stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an edge stitch. So here I'm going to now make the return pass. This is how it's looking. I have the base, I have the 2 sides, and this top part is just starting to build now. So for the top now, I need to continue this border pattern. So I'm going to make a extended simple stitch, a simple stitch, and an extended simple stitch, and then simple stitches. It's a total of 9 simple stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then an extended simple stitch, a simple stitch, and then an extended simple stitch, and then the edge stitch here, making the return pass. Okay, here it is. This is how it is. You can see that the border is continuing, and I'm going to now make another row of simple stitches with the white yarn. Here, this, I can get these out of the way. So here you can see another row of this. I'm going to complete the border like we had this row of squares here. So I'm going to complete that by making another row of alternating extended simple stitches and simple stitches. Here I've built this mosaic design here, just like I had at the bottom. It said here at the top as well. So now going to end this with a row of simple stitches in this color. Here, and I'm going to now in the end just bind off. Here I have this complete. Now I'm going to weave in ends, and I'm going to show you how it looks at this point. This is how it looks after weaving in all ends. You can see that this would nicely frame anything that's inside. So I wanted to create something that was the same height as all the squares put together. So depending on what the height of your squares is, it should fit as long as you maintain the stitch count that's in the pattern, and it, and of course the arrangement that I've shown of the squares. The good part about this frame is that it is the same thickness as when you put the squares together, because this blackwork technique, you're building a fabric which is almost about twice as thick as if you were just building a simple stitch fabric. So I wanted to give, I didn't want the border to be any lighter than the fabric inside. So this worked really, really well. And for the final finishing touches, I gave it a crab stitch border around this frame. So all you have to do for that is you attach your yarn at any point. This will attach the yarn here, chain 1, and you're basically building single crochet stitches in the opposite direction. So if you were doing single crochet, we'd be working this side, but we're going to go in the opposite direction. And then yarn over, pull through. So opposite direction, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm just going to go around and give this a crab stitch border, and that's the final finishing touch for this. So I'm going to complete this and show you how it looks. Here it is after completing the crab stitch border around this frame. So here it is. I think this is beautiful. I created this tutorial a long time after I created my Sona blanket, and it's it was fun working on this technique again. So here, after you have built this, you would put your joined squares inside. This will be much larger for the actual Sona blanket, and the design will be different. So please follow the instructions from the pattern for that. And once you have this, you would join with the slip stitch, the zigzag slip stitch join method, which I have a separate video for. You could actually skip this completely if you wanted to, and just go around and give your blanket a different border, or just a crab stitch border, whatever works for you. But I think this gives it a nice polished look, a nice frame for the squares, and then a crab stitch border to complete the look. So that's pretty much it for the entire Sona blanket, Cal. I hope you've enjoyed working on this pattern, and please share your completed blankets with me, or any other project that you may have made with this technique. I'd love to see it. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to me. My email address is arunima@nitonata.com. And if you have questions, reach out. If you want to share your projects, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.